Hello, class. Welcome to the Flash 5. We're going to talk a little bit about crunching the numbers. I know that this can be a little bit more of a difficult area, especially if you're not a huge math major or accounting major. So I want to go through the textbook problem so that when you go through the crunch the numbers on your own, you'll be able to have maybe a map on how to get to the right answer. So on page 22 of your textbook, we have Butcher Enterprise, and they are looking at their budget and they're trying to figure out, okay, what is going on in the marketplace, because 80% of our employees, as they're leaving, they're saying the top reason they're leaving is because of pay. And when they started to look at the marketplace, what they found was that the average in the industry was paying $23 for compensation, and of that, $16 per hour was wages, and $7 of it was benefits. In comparison, when Butcher looked at their own numbers, they found that they only had $19 for compensation, and of this amount, 70% was allocated for wages. So the first question asks us, on an average hourly basis, how much does Butcher Enterprise spend on wages and benefits, respectively in dollars? So they've told you already that they spend $19 per hour on wages and benefits, and 70% of this amount is allocated for wages, which means 30% is benefits. So if we take the $19 and we multiply that by 70%, or 0.70, we get $13.30 is allocated for wages. The other side of that, the 30%, is the $5.70 for the benefits. Now, obviously, both these numbers should add up to $19, and that tells us how much of that $19 is going to each different bucket. So once we get that information, now we can take a real good look and say, okay, well, what is happening versus the marketplace? Well, we mentioned earlier that the marketplace is paying $23 for compensation, so there's a difference there. There's also a difference in wages. That's what most people look at. Honestly, you can give them a spew of benefits that are really expensive and cost a lot of money, but there's still those people that will sit back and go, well, okay, that's great, but what am I taking home in my paycheck every week? So the difference that we're seeing here is that we're paying $13.30 and the industry is paying $16. So somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm going to give you a job for $13.30 versus I'm going to give you a job for $16. If take home pay is something that's really important to you, that's going to be one of your major contributors to your decision. And also, we're paying less for benefits. So that means that we're paying them less and we're giving them less benefits. So we can't even sell that we're doing a better job at giving them benefits. So let's talk about the next questions. It says, how much does the company spend on wages and benefit over the course of 1 year for 100 office workers? Assume that each worker provides 2,080 hours of service each year. So this is a pretty simple calculation. We're going to take 100 workers times 2,080 of the hours, and we're going to get 208,000. So that's 208,000 hours that we're talking. So now we take that 208,000 and we multiply it by the $19 per hour, and we get 3.952 million is how much the company spends on wages and benefit over the course of 1 year. So we're just doing a multiplication problem here. When we get down to the next one, we're actually looking for a little bit more of a comparison between the two. So we say, okay, if we are paying $23 an hour, which is what we said the market is paying, multiplied by that 208,000 hours, we get 4,784,000. If we look at that 4,784,000 and we subtract what we came up with above, which was the 3.952, we are able to find out that there's a difference of $832,000. So therefore, our company will need to spend an additional $832,000 per year to match the market rate for this group of employees. So when you're doing crunch the numbers, why is this important to you as an HR person? Well, in comps and benefits, that's one of the places that you are going to get the most questions. You can't sit behind that HR desk and not be able to answer the questions about, well, why will I come work for you if you're paying me less, your benefits are less? A lot of times people say, well, I wouldn't really have to deal with that because they wouldn't come in and have the interview if they knew that we were paying less and the industry was paying more. And that's absolutely not true nowadays. A lot of companies don't advertise what they are paying. And so when an employee goes through their first, second, third sometimes interview, that's when compensation starts to come up, and the question of, okay, well, what are you giving me that my other three offers would not be giving me? And so this is something that a lot of workers are starting to ask those questions. So think about that. What do you think that you're giving them in this case that they may not be getting at a competitor? Well, there are some things that we might sell. We may say, well, we allow you to work from home 2 days a week, so you don't have to travel in. Or we provide you with a cell phone and a laptop to telecommute as you need to. So we may have more vacation time. A lot of the newer generation coming into the workforce are saying, we don't care so much about all of these other things. What we really want is flexibility. We want to be able to have that option for vacation time, and that being able to take different days and different times. So let's take a look at that as we continue through our learning about compensation and benefit, and remember that there's always those other things that are going to make people come. Or we may be just cheap and not paying enough money, and as we've seen, we're losing a good percentage of our good employees because of that. So there's your Flash in 5. I will be doing one of these each week so that you can get up on what's going on with the numbers, and please feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Have a great week, and I will see you on the boards.